Over the past 5 years, the Atlanta Braves have dominated the NL East, but finally in 2022, two other teams joined the hunt for the division title, the Mets and the Phillies, two teams that had high hopes going into 2022. Now, in 2023, it's anybody's division, except the Nationals. Sorry, Nationals fans. The New York Mets have had one of the best off seasons in their history. Some would say it's been one of the best ever. They have signed Edwin Diaz, Brandon Nimmo, Adam Ottavino, David Robertson, Tommy Pham, Justin Verlander, Danny Mendick, Kodai Senga, Jose Quintana, and Omar Narvaez. They have also traded James McCann to the Orioles, gotten Brooks Raley from the Rays, and they have traded for two starting pitchers from the Marlins. It is safe to say that the Mets have had one of the best winters of the year, but is it the best in their division? Guys, before I continue on with the video, please go like, subscribe, comment. I really love reading your comments. Let's try to reach our short-term goal of 100 subscribers. It really helps me out. I love reading your comments. Go do all of that. Let's get back to the video. The Philadelphia Phillies are coming off a season where they made it to the World Series, beating the Cardinals in the Wild Card Series, the Braves in the Division Series, and the Padres in the NLCS. They made it all the way to Game 6 of the World Series, where they were beaten by the Astros, but overall, the Phillies had a very successful season. This offseason, they have just gotten better. On December 8th, 2022, the Phillies made arguably the best move any team has made this offseason after they signed Trey Turner to a monster 11-year, $300 million contract. They would soon follow that up with deals for Taijuan Walker, Matt Strahm, Craig Kimbrell, Gregory Soto, and Cody Clemens. While the Braves haven't made any significant moves this offseason, with the best free agent moves being bringing in Nick Anderson, Joe Jimenez, Jordan Luplow, and Lucas Licky, they have made one great trade.
Murphy, Kev, he's one of the great young catchers of the game. He's 28. He's very good offensively and defensively, and now he's on the move. As we welcome the show, he's going to the Atlanta Braves. He was only one of three catchers to have at least a 5 WAR last year.
Obviously, the Sean Murphy move is the best move of the Braves offseason, but you might be surprised when I say that there is still one team in the NL East that actually has a chance to be the best by the end of 2023. Sorry, Nationals, it's the Miami Marlins. The Marlins have actually had a good offseason. I wouldn't call it great, but they are clearly bringing in talent that could help their team. They started the offseason with a trade with the Rays when they brought in relief pitcher JT Chargois. They quickly followed that up with signings of Gene Segura and veteran Johnny Cueto, as if this rotation was not already scary enough.
Sandy Alcantara, Dominican pride, and pretty soon to be the Dominican Dada. Very happy for him. Very happy. Either one of the three candidates could have easily been the winner, but this guy has done it all.
Behind Sandy Alcantara, there are many young stud starting pitchers, including Edward Cabrera, Braxton Garrett, Jesus Luzardo, Max Meyer, Trevor Rogers, and Sixto Sanchez. You might see I am missing a starter by the name of Pablo Lopez. That is because the Marlins made the best move of their offseason after they traded Pablo Lopez and two prospects for the AL batting champion, Luis Arias. So obviously there are 4 teams in the NL East that have a legitimate chance to win the division in 2023. But are the moves that these 4 teams made enough to push them over the edge? Let's start with what each team already had.
Well, day one of free agency, and the Mets wasting absolutely no time signing their all-star closer, Edwin Diaz.
Breaking news out of Major League Baseball, Justin Verlander has agreed to a 2-year deal with the New York Mets.
Was wanting to be part of this vision moving forward.
I'm here to try and see it through from start to finish.
I don't know where to start with the Mets. This is a super team. They are so loaded, and I'm not saying that because I'm a Mets fan. The Mets pitching staff was one of the best in baseball last year. They placed 7th in team ERA with great individual performances from Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, Edwin Diaz, and Adam Ottavino. The hitting was also on a whole different level. Led by NL batting champion Jeff McNeil, Pete Alonso, and Francisco Lindor, the Mets placed 2nd in team batting average, 5th in runs scored, and 15th in home runs. It's safe to say the Mets team was one of the best MLB teams last year. Same with the Braves. Led by breakout performances from Spencer Strider, Dansby Swanson, and Kyle Wright, the Braves tied the Mets with a 101-61 record. While the Braves were behind the Mets in batting average, they certainly made up for it in runs scored, home runs, and ERA, placing top 5 in all 3 of those categories. The Phillies were a different story in 2022. They were very middle of the pack as a team when it came to all the major stats. By the end of May, the Phillies were the opposite of a playoff team. They had just a 17-31 record, ending the month with a 5-game losing streak.
I don't know what we can say. You watched it along with us. It is an absolute, Tom McCarthy was thinking of words, it's an absolute stone-cold disgrace.
But then something clicked. On the backs of National League home run champion Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper, the Philadelphia offense was able to get them to a wildcard spot where they would ride into the playoffs and get all the way to the World Series. While the 2022 Phillies were not as good as the Mets and Braves, they showed that they could beat all the best teams in baseball. And then there's the Marlins. They finished 4th in the NL East with a 69-93 record in 2022. So why are they in this video? Because of their starting pitching. Even though their offense was one of the worst in baseball last season, the Marlins had one of the best pitching rotations in baseball. Even though I've already said this in the video, it's so important to note that if the Marlins have another great rotation, led by Sandy Alcantara, bounce-back seasons from Jorge Soler and Avisail Garcia, and a better bullpen, they could be the best team in this division. Obviously, every NL East team in this video has gotten better this offseason. That's why they're in the video. But in what way will these additions help each team? The Mets have not made any major upgrades to their offense, but they had one of the best lineups last year, so why can't they this year? With the rotation upgrades the Mets have made, this rotation is now even better than last year, which is saying something. The rotation now consists of Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Kodai Senga, Carlos Carrasco, and Jose Quintana. That sounds like a winner to me. With Edwin Diaz still in the back of the bullpen, David Robertson as the new setup guy, and the extra addition of Brooks Raley, this bullpen is also better than last year. Even though the additions will help the pitching more than the offense, if the Mets offense can do what they did last year and the pitching is the same or better, the Mets have a legit chance to win this division. The Phillies' additions this offseason will definitely benefit both sides of the baseball. Obviously, the major upgrade to the offense is Trey Turner playing shortstop and hitting leadoff. He's going to give the Phillies another boost of offense, but this time, instead of more home runs, he's going to give a higher average and on-base percentage. On the pitching side, they added Taijuan Walker to their rotation behind Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler. The additions of Matt Strahm, Craig Kimbrell, and Gregory Soto to the bullpen will definitely give them more options and guys they can rely on to eat innings and win games. As for the Braves, even though they didn't make as many moves as the other teams in this video, we can't forget that they won the division last year. Even though they are losing Dansby Swanson, the addition of Sean Murphy at catcher will make up for that. He is a great offensive piece to have behind the cleanup spot, and he fits exactly what the Braves' mindset is. Score a lot of runs and have good defense. The Braves also got 2 guys that will add to the depth of the bullpen in Joe Jimenez and Lucas Luetge. Now for the outlier. The team that was one of the worst in the National League last season actually has a chance to win it this year. The Marlins. It might be a little bit of a stretch to say that the Marlins have a chance to win the NL East with the Mets, Braves, and Phillies, but the additions of Gene Segura and Luis Ariz to the infield, they are a lot better than last year. If those 2 guys can hit for their peak average and get on base, the other guys they brought in last year, in Avisail Garcia and Jorge Soler, could really make a difference to this team. Obviously, we know the starting pitching is elite, but adding veteran Johnny Cueto to the young rotation will help the young guys gain experience and knowledge about pitching. It is now time to answer the question I've been building up to the entire video. Taking into account prior knowledge of the team's skills and the new talent that the teams have brought on, the winner is the Mets. I have to pick the Mets. 1, they're my favorite team, so I have a little bit of bias. But 2, without bias, I can confidently say that the Mets have the best pitching rotation, bullpen, and infield of every team I talked about in today's video. I can't argue with an owner that will do anything to make his team win, even if it means going bankrupt. So whether you think I made the right choice or not, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, subscribe, comment. I will read those, and I will see you guys in the next one.